3 YouTube comedy specials worth your time. I'm really into watching YouTube stand-up comedy specials lately, especially ones by comedians I've never seen before. I'm sure I'm not the only one with Netflix comedy special fatigue. They're all shot the same way and feel assembly line and overproduced to me. Alternatively, many of the specials being released on YouTube are doing some really creative, innovative stuff. It also makes me feel like a pretentious music snob saying no thank you to the latest Sabrina Carpenter track in favour of thumbing through a pile of dusty vinyls at a recycle shop. Don't get me wrong, I love Sabrina Carpenter's music. I just like being a pretentious dickhead when it comes to comedy specials too. So here's 3 specials you might not have heard of that are worth your time in no particular order. Josh Kingsford, Midnight Porridge. Josh Kingsford is the recently revealed name and face of the popular comedy YouTuber Comedy Without Errors, which I'm sure you're already familiar with. If you're not, you need to be. Midnight Porridge was filmed over several different nights of comedy at different venues all around the UK. There's an awesome variety of sets, from what looks like a thespian theatre, through a range of different classic English pubs and ending up at a coffee shop gig during the daytime. This might be off-putting to some people, but I absolutely loved seeing the range of gigs. Comics often say a special filmed in a theatre is actually nothing like 99% of the gigs we perform at, and this special shows the wide range of actual places that an up-and-coming comedian will perform in. In between each different show, there's a stop-motion animation of a teddy bear doing various things which helps serve as a through line for the special. The individual comedy bits aren't narratively connected to each other, but the teddy bear interludes help tie it all together and make it feel like a complete package. Josh's material is fantastic and well written. He's got a range of subjects that all felt personal to him, and while normally I'm not huge on abstract or esoteric stand-up comedians, I really enjoyed Josh's act-outs, from the impression of what it would be like to shag Barbossa from Pirates of the Caribbean, a bit which had me doubled over laughing, easily the hardest I've laughed at a stand-up bit in years, to singing like the high-pitched, scraggly, bearded men that make up his entire music taste in the middle of a coffee shop. Josh really bears his soul during this special in a way that's terrifying to me, an emotionally stunted Kiwi man. Josh's influences of James Acaster, Stuart Lee, and possibly a bit of Bo Burnham show through well, but Josh still feels distinct from the 3 of them as he presents as a sort of awkward, nerdy, introverted guy who's also very capable of busting out a really intense impression or a song and committing 100% to the bit. Josh has been reviewing comedy for years, and it was so good to see him practice what he preaches in this special. You can find it on Josh's channel, Comedy Without Errors, and there's also a link in the video description. Nick Capper, Hold Me Closer, Tiny Cancer. This special won't be for everyone, as it's about a dark subject. Cancer, in case the title didn't give it away. I went into this one never having seen Nick Capper before, and came away from it as a new fan. This special is really, really funny. As you can imagine, there are some heavy moments where Nick talks about having cancer, thinking about dying, chemotherapy, and so on, which are serious moments played totally straight, but then almost immediately Nick brings it back to funny, resulting in uproarious laughter from the audience. There are some creative camera moves that they used in this special. It actually begins with Nick coming out into the audience and delivering a pre-show intro without a mic. He gives a spiel in order to temper their expectations and even gets quite a few massive laughs in. I've never seen that done before, and it was the perfect hook. It really grabbed me and I thought, I've never seen this before, let's see where it goes. Later on in the show, there's a few stunning shots done from behind Nick facing the audience, and even though we are looking more at the audience than at Nick, these moments felt intimate and personal, which I enjoyed. Nick's character is that of a rough around the edges, down on his luck, struggling Aussie comedian with an abrasive face, in his own words. Nick's an endearing character, and even though nothing ever seems to go right for him, there's a relentless optimism that cuts through the surface-level pessimism and self-deprecation that makes me just like him. Nick Capper feels like the embodiment of the quote, "When you're going through hell, keep going." You can find this video on Nick Capper's YouTube page, or there's a link in the video description. Taylor Ruddle, Panic at the Buffet. Now, I couldn't make one of these lists without shilling my own YouTube comedy special, could I? Panic at the Buffet is my second full-length comedy special, recorded in 2024. It's totally self-produced and released not long before my 10-year anniversary of performing stand-up. I'll be the first to tell you that it's not perfect. There's always room for improvement. We could have tightened up the edit a bit. I wouldn't have minded an extra camera angle to play with, as well as a few more preview shows to really lock in on the material. However, when watching this compared to my special from 2022 and earlier in 2024 respectively, that's right, I dropped 2 specials in 2024, just saying, both viewable on my YouTube channel. I can see that we've grown exponentially in terms of production. This is definitely my magnum opus so far, and I'm so proud of it. I look forward to creating the next one. Panic at the Buffet is about 5 experiences I had where I started overthinking or got up in my head, panicked, and then did something stupid that I regretted at the time, but in hindsight makes for a good story. Things such as trying to spell my name out over the phone, trying to buy a knife from a hunting and fishing store, trying not to scare women when I'm out walking alone at night, and of course, the titular Panic at the Buffet. It's hard for me to summarize which comics have influenced my style. I know which ones I want to be like, but how close I got to them isn't really up to me. I've always strived to be as warm, easygoing and relaxed as Russell Peters on stage. There's a lot of borderline hyperbolic big guy material a la John Panette. I deliver my jokes from the back of my mouth with a bit of vocal fry, like Jim Jeffries. I like to think that I can be as dry, witty and self-deprecating as Todd Barry, or as efficient of a wordsmith as Frankie Boyle. I try to choose interesting words inspired by guys like Norm Macdonald and Gary Goldman. It seems weird to actually write all that out. Maybe it's not as hard as I thought. You can watch Panic at the Buffet right here on this YouTube channel. Just click on my profile and you'll see it there. But as always, there's a link in the video description. I hope you've enjoyed this little tapas tasting menu of specials, and that you'll go and check out one of the 3. I was planning on doing a list of 5, but a trusted confidant suggested that I keep it at 3. Hopefully that's not indicative of how tedious my writing is, and more of a general statement on the lack of attention span most people have. If you've enjoyed it, leave me a comment saying so, and please do recommend your own favourite YouTube specials. I believe we're living in a gold rush era of online comedy, so I'd love to keep checking them out, and maybe I'll make another one of these lists. Thank you for watching.